In early 2020, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, became the backdrop for one of the most disturbing and heartbreaking domestic homicide cases in recent memory. It is now infamously known as the Banks family murders, or the horrors of apartment 5904. At the center of this tragedy was Amarah Jerica Banks, a 26-year-old mother of three, described by family and friends as bubbly, loving, and deeply dedicated to her children. She had three young kids: Zaniya, aged 5, Camaria, aged 4, and her youngest, Unsolved Ivery Jr., who was just 1 year old. Her boyfriend, and the father of her youngest child, was Unsolved Ivery, a man who would soon be known not for being a partner or a father, but for a brutal act that would shock the state and haunt all who heard about it. The chain of events began with heartbreak. On January 24, 2020, little Unsolved Ivery Jr. passed away due to complications from a respiratory illness. His death was reportedly natural, but it left Jerica and her family devastated. Jerica had been raising her three children largely on her own, and her son's passing was a deeply traumatic event that she was struggling to cope with. But behind closed doors, the grieving process was taking a much darker turn. Tension was reportedly growing between Jerica and Ivery. There were signs of trouble in the relationship, some of which would only become clear in hindsight. Family members noticed Jerica had begun withdrawing and wasn't herself in the days following the funeral. On February 7, 2020, a Friday, the family came together for Unsolved Jr.'s funeral. Afterward, Jerica and the girls went home to their apartment on North 87th Street, apartment 5904. That evening, Unsolved Ivery showed up. It's not clear whether he was invited or if he came unannounced, but what we do know is that Jerica and Unsolved began arguing late into the night. In the early morning hours of February 8, neighbors later reported hearing disturbing noises, screams, crying, and what sounded like a woman pleading, "Don't kill me." Inside the apartment, according to Ivery's own confession, a violent altercation had taken place. He claimed Jerica was angry and accused him of not caring about their deceased son. He told police that she grabbed a knife and cut his wrist during the argument. Whether this was self-defense or part of a mutual struggle is unclear. What we do know is that Ivery escalated things to a horrific level. He told investigators that he slammed Jerica's head into the wall twice, then strangled her with his hands until she was dead, but that was only the beginning. After murdering Jerica, Unsolved Ivery turned to the girls, 5-year-old Zaniya and 4-year-old Camaria, who were asleep in their bedroom. He said he didn't want the girls to grow up without their mother. He entered their room, woke Zaniya up, hugged her, kissed her, and told her, "Daddy loves you." Then he strangled her. He did the same to Camaria. In less than an hour, 3 lives were extinguished by the hands of someone they knew and trusted. After the murders, Ivery placed all 3 bodies into an air mattress bag and loaded them into Jerica's car. At first, he kept the bodies inside the car outside the apartment, but the next day, as the pressure of the disappearance started mounting, he decided to dispose of them. He drove the bodies to a detached garage at a property near 47th and Burley, which was linked to his family. There, he built a fire and placed the bodies inside. He returned later with gasoline, doused the remains, and set them ablaze again in an effort to destroy evidence. Meanwhile, Jerica's family had become extremely worried. She had been expected at church on Sunday, February 9th, but she never showed. Calls and texts went unanswered. Her sisters contacted the police to report her missing. Given that she was last seen with her children in Ivery, the urgency escalated. That same day, police issued an Amber Alert for the 2 little girls. Surveillance footage from Jerica's apartment showed Ivery moving suspiciously, carrying what appeared to be large, heavy items wrapped in bedding. When police questioned him, he initially denied knowing their whereabouts, then abruptly fled the state, heading south to Memphis, Tennessee. While in Memphis, Ivery reportedly confessed to his father, telling him he had done something terrible. His father, in shock, contacted Memphis police, who arrested Ivery on a warrant. He was extradited back to Wisconsin. During interrogations, Ivery calmly described the murders. He did not display much remorse and maintained that the argument with Jerica pushed him over the edge. He chillingly explained that he didn't want the girls to grow up without their mom, so he decided to kill them too. On February 16th, police recovered the charred remains of Jerica, Zaniya, and Camaria in the garage. The fire had not fully destroyed the bodies, and forensic analysis confirmed their identities. In court, Unsolved Ivery was charged with 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, along with charges related to the desecration and burning of the bodies. In April 2021, he pleaded guilty to all charges. At his sentencing in July 2021, he was given 3 life sentences with no possibility of parole. During sentencing, Jerica's family gave powerful emotional statements. Her sisters spoke of the deep pain they endured and how the absence of Jerica and the girls left a hole in their lives. They remembered Jerica as a devoted mother with big dreams for her children. Zaniya had just started kindergarten. Camaria was bright and energetic. Their futures were stolen in the most violent way imaginable. In the aftermath, the Milwaukee community rallied around the family. A mural and stained glass piece were created in their honor through the Sojourner Family Peace Center, an organization that supports domestic violence victims. Their story is now used in training and awareness campaigns to help identify signs of abusive relationships before they turn deadly. The Banks family murders are a stark and devastating reminder of the dangers of unchecked domestic violence, particularly when children are involved. No other suspects were ever considered in the case. All evidence pointed solely to Unsolved Ivery. What makes this case so horrifying isn't just the violence, it's the emotional betrayal. These were not strangers. This was a family, a mother, 2 little girls, and a man they knew and loved who decided to kill them all. Today, the apartment at 5904 remains a chilling symbol of loss. A place where lives were stolen, love was destroyed, and a city was left asking, how could anyone do this?